Oye. Getting ready to do the fun part. Not. I have to sift this flour 3 times. So here we go. Round 1. Sift 1. Fight. Oh, then it gets stuck to the bottom. Round 1. Fight. We're not fighting. We are doing something out of love. Oh, this is where ingenuity. We have to get creative because we want it to land in our sifter. Okay, so we have it in our sifter. That took a minute. And now the magic happens. And we lost some along the way. So we're going to pull our flour back out. Put a little bit more flour because we are off by a gram. So a gram got stuck in our sifter. $39.5. 80. Okay. All right. That's sift number 1. Now, we got to do it 2 more times. Hello. Okay, let's do it again. Put our sifter in there. Okay. Now we do that for the second time. Hello. Right now we're sifting our King Arthur cake flour 3 times. This is the second sift. And I need to have 80 grams after each sift. So I'm keeping it on the scale each time because you can lose some in the sifter. And we want to make sure that we still end up with 80 grams after the 3 times that we sifted. So for example, the first time we sifted, we lost a gram. And we lost a gram again in the sifter. So we're just going to put a tiny back in. Just to get it back up to 80 grams. Come on. Perfect. And we'll keep a little cake flour to the side. Now we're going to do that a third time. The reason why we're doing this is that today we are making a cake for my best friend, for one of my best friends. And they have very specific dietary needs. They need to have... They are currently on a diet that is gallbladder friendly, which means that we need to make sure that what I make him, like lately I've been making like pistachio cheesecake or like pistachio buns. Not what we're going to make for this friend. They need something that's light and fat. And so what I'm attempting to make today, I like making cakes, but the light, airy cakes, I've had mixed experience with them. And so we're giving an angel food cake. Hello. We're giving another attempt at making an angel food cake today. So that's what we're making for one of my besties. So that was our third sift. We get all of our flour out. Great. So we have our 80 grams of flour that's been sifted 3 times. Now, we have to put our flour away. We have to clean up as we go. And now, okay. So we have our egg whites that were sorted already. We have our egg yolks. We need 90 grams of granulated sugar. We're going to grab our sugar. We're going to measure out 90 grams of sugar. Oh, we need it to be divided into 70 and 20. So, let's do 70. Okay, that's 71. Let's take out 1.4. 70.9. Hey. Okay. So we have our 70. Now we need 20. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so we have our egg whites. We have our granulated sugar divided into 70 grams and 20 grams. We have our egg yolks, which are 4 of them. Our eggs were separated earlier so that they could come to room temperature. We need cream of tartar. Let me get that out of the pantry. Cream of tartar. Nope, that's alum. Ginger. Where'd it go? Tarragon. Allspice. Mustard. Turmeric. Clove. Sesame seed. Nutmeg. Alum. Ginger. Where is it? We have our cream of tartar. Okay, we need a little bowl for that. And we're gonna need 1/4 teaspoon. So we'll get some measuring things out. That's 1/2. Quarter. Okay. We have our 1/4 teaspoon. So we're going to put it in. And something my mom taught me, take the back edge of a knife and you use it to even out your measuring spoon. So take that edge, scrape off the top, and now we have our 1/4 teaspoon. So I'm going to put that into its own little bowl. Right now we're doing our mise en place. We are taking the time to measure out all of our ingredients properly. It makes a huge difference, especially in baking. So we're getting all of our ingredients measured and laid out. Now we need fine salt. We'll have that here. We need vanilla bean paste, 1/2 teaspoon. 1/2 teaspoon. 1/2 teaspoon. We don't really need to dirty it up because we measure vanilla with our hearts, but take an eyeball of how much I'm gonna need. But let's not dirty that up. We'll just pour it out. There we go. A little bit more than 1/2, but that's fine. Because we're going for a vanilla bean cake. So we can measure our vanilla bean with our hearts. Okay, now I need whole milk, 22 grams. That's been warmed to 122 degrees. Let's take our milk out. Great. Put it into something that can go into the microwave. We need 22 grams. It's a little bit more than that, so take a tiny bit out. Boom. This is not that much, so it won't take that long to get warm. So let's do 20 seconds. We get our thermometer out. And then, and actually we don't need the milk to be warm right this second. So we're gonna go ahead, we have it measured out. We can just get started. So we have our flour, we have our eggs, we have our sugar, we have our vanilla bean, we have our cream of tartar, And now what we need is our stand mixer. So we're gonna move things around so that I can pull the mixer onto our surface. Either way. Flour, ammonia, tiny tubs, sugar, eggs. Okay, now we pull our salt. Now we pull our mixer down. And now we're going to check our oven temperature. It's actually right where we want it to be, so that's perfect. We want it we want that heat in there to be warm for a while before we put our cake in there. So our oven is right at the temperature that we want. So that's great. It can sit there for a bit. All right. So we're making King Arthur, because I'm using King Arthur cake flour. So we're making King Arthur vanilla cloud sponge cake. Whole milk version, and we're going for something that's gallbladder friendly. So the idea is that it's going to be a soft and layered cake. I'm also going to make a Greek yogurt frosting, and we'll layer it with some fresh strawberries, and that will be our cake. And I'm making like a mini cake. So I'm going to be making enough batter for 2 6-inch rounds, which I should actually prep now. So that's actually a good reminder. Before we start mixing our batter, we want to have our pans prepped. So for this kind of cake, you're going to want a springform pan, some parchment paper. Parchment paper is your friend. And so we unlock our springform pan. We lay our paper on it. We get our pan back on it. And then we close it. And then I like to trim, not too much, because you still want to leave some overlap. But I like to trim the edge a little bit, just to make them easier to handle. And because we're doing a sponge cake, we're not going to line the sides, and we're not going to put any kind of like, como se dice, like butter and flour on the edges. But we are going to use our parchment paper for the bottom. Same for our second 6-inch round. You pop it. You have it so that the edge that sinks in, that comes in, is the one that your cake batter is going into. So then see that that ledge is the one that's going to go under. So we put our paper on it. Again, we take our spring form, we line it up, we close it, and boom, we have pinched our parchment paper at the bottom. And now we're going to trim it again. Not trim it again, but trim again. We're trimming this for the first time. Okay. If you know that you're going to have another little baking thing that you can use that extra scrap of parchment paper, obviously you want to keep it, but they were such small pieces and they're just going to end up bouncing around the kitchen getting dirty, so I threw them out. But I try to use as much as I can of all of my resources without wasting. So now we have our pans. They can sit to the side. And so now we have preheated our oven. Now we're going to make our meringue. In a grease-free bowl, we're gonna beat our egg whites, our cream of tartar, and our salt until soft peaks. Our balloon whisk attachment. I need the bowl. I just washed it. Did not wash fully, so we're gonna wash this really quick with my hand. Okay. Make sure this is nice and clean. Make sure this is nice and clean. It's still not. I made cheesecake yesterday, so we just still have little remnants of cheesecake in our bowl. Gotta look into my dishwasher. It's not washing properly. Might need a rinse out or something. Okay, so our mixing bowl is now clean. We're gonna dry it. Get it nice and dry. Get all that water out. Okay. A little bit more paper towel. Okay. Now we have our bowl. Okay. I like to clean as much as possible while I go along too. Okay, so we have our clean bowl. Hello? There we go. We have our Cuisinart mixer. And we're now going to take our egg whites that are room temperature. Great. We're going to take our pre-measured cream of tartar. Great. We're going to take, I usually have a little bowl when I'm measuring out salt. I have like a little pincher bowl close by, so out of my pincher bowl, take a little pinch of salt, pour that in there too, put it back where it goes. And now our balloon whisk is nice and clean. We're gonna put our attachment on, put our neck down, and it doesn't say at what speed, so we're gonna start slow. And slowly increase our speed. Sponge cakes are still new for me, and I know that they're very finicky, and especially with something that doesn't have a lot of fat in it, this is where the magic happens, is getting all the air into the egg whites. So this is where we want to be extra careful and paying attention to our meringue. So I can see the cream of tartar down at the bottom mixing around with our egg whites. Let me bring you closer. Would you like to see? I can bring you closer. Let's bring you closer. Now that the mixer's not here. Okay, so now, whoa. There we go. So now, we have our egg whites mixing away. I'm starting to see a little bit of foam on the side. And now I'm going to take that 5 speed and we're going to take it up to 6. Hi, Wesley. Thanks for coming back. We're making angel food cake today. So right now I'm seeing some bubbles forming. And this is where the magic starts to happen. Now we're seeing some more bubbles forming. And this is where I need to concentrate a little bit and not look at you all. So I'm sorry if I don't respond to the chat for a bit. But this is where we're going to take very soon our 70 grams of sugar, and we're going to very slowly add it to our egg whites that, as you can see, are very magically happening, turning from egg whites into a soft little foamy mixture. So we're going to turn this off until soft peaks. So as you can see, like from the tip of our balloon whisk, there's just very little foam that's sticking and not much structure. It's not leaving much structure behind at the bottom of our bowl. So we're going to mix a little bit more. We're not at soft peak status yet. So we're just under medium speed. So it's like medium low, just barely under medium speed. But as you can see, our egg whites are getting more and more foamy, which is a good thing. That's what we want. We want air. Air is our secret ingredient for our airy sponge cake. So I see it getting lighter and lighter. So we're going to take another stop. And now a little more is sticking to my balloon whisk tip. And a little bit of a peak is happening, but not quite a soft peak yet, but we're almost there. And for a Cuisinart, because Cuisinarts are by number, I started this at a 3, went up to 4, then up to 5, and we've taken it up to a number 6. And right now we're beating it at speed 6. We're going to stop it again, because we also don't want to over. Like, this is a very delicate dance. All right, so very, very soft peak, but still not. We're almost there. Now I can see, okay, another visual is that in your bowl, you're going to start seeing the swirl pattern of your balloon whisk, almost like leaving a swirl pattern behind. That's another good visual marker. So we've checked, and now I have even more that's kind of hanging onto the tip of my balloon whisk, and I have the beginnings of a soft peak. So I'm going to beat it just a tiny bit more, and then we'll start slowly adding our sugar. So I'm seeing the trails. It starts to look like the inside of a seashell. So right now we're going to take our 70 grams of sugar and we're going to add it very slowly. I'm just tapping at the jar so that it very slowly, like almost like a sand clock, the sugar just very slowly trickles into our egg whites. Tap, 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 little by little. Tap, tap, tap. Patience is your friend here. And for an ADHD, neurospicy bad, I show my love for my friends that I bake cakes like this for, because I like baking cakes, but they're so finicky. So I gotta really like you a lot for me to bake you a cake, because they're not easy. All these housewives and moms that made you a birthday cake every year and they made it look so easy, it's not easy, man. All right, we tap, tap, tap. We're still pouring our sugar in little by little. All right, we got the last of it. Okay, now beat to glossy, medium, stiff peaks. So we have very soft peaks right now, but we are getting glossy. So let's beat this. And then on low speed, we're gonna add our yolks one at a time. One of them broke, so it'll be interesting, but we're gonna figure it out. Okay. Beat to glossy, medium, stiff peaks. All right, medium, stiff peaks. Medium stiff. We're still at soft. We're still at soft. We're almost there. It's soft medium, because we also don't want stiff peaks. It's almost there. Okay, so let's get it back down to 3. Well, let's beat it at 4 for a little bit longer. And now we'll bring it down to 3. So now we're at 3 speed. And we're going to take our egg yolks and we're going to add them in one at a time. And again, one of them broke, so I'm going to see if I can get that one in there. I think we're just going to have to do it even slower, because we're just going to have to get that broken one in there in pieces. I'd rather do a little less at a time than too much. All right, let's add more of our broken yolk. Let's see if one of them slides out. Boom. Okay. We're going to let that blend a little. Now we're going to take our third egg yolk with a little bit more of the broken one. Boom, right in there. And this is at low speed. We're at 3 speed right now on our Cuisinart. And actually it's like pooling. I can see it pooling in the... Okay. Let's get our last eggy in there with the last of our broken egg yolk. Make sure we get it all in there. We need all of that protein. Okay. So we have the last of our broken egg yolk in there. Okay, and we're gonna get back to mixing at 3. Smells very eggy. Okay. Add yolks one by one, about 1 second each, just until incorporated. Just until incorporated. Okay, just until incorporated. We are at just until incorporated. So now, sift flour and remaining 20 grams of sugar over batter in 3 additions, gently folding with a balloon whisk or a spatula. So now we're going to take our sugar and our sifted our sifted flour, and we're going to add it to our mixture in three parts. So I've seen a few different techniques in terms of the folding. I've seen some people do it with a spatula. There's another lady that I follow on Instagram who has a baking app who recommends doing it actually with a balloon whisk so that you can maintain more of your airiness. So that's what we're going to try today, is with my little balloon whisk, fold our dry ingredients in. So let's see right here. Okay, so we have a little bit in there. So we go around the bowl and fold. 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 Okay? That's our first round. Now our second batch of flour and sugar. Okay. So again, around and fold. Around and fold is our technique that we're trying to do today with our balloon whisk. Trying to do it as gently as possible because air is, again, our secret ingredient in this recipe, which is why we're doing this with the balloon whisk instead of a spatula. Okay, making sure everything's properly mixed, but I'm seeing air bubbles pop, so that's freaking me out. Okay, let's not lose our air. So we can't overmix. That's the name of this game, is we gotta be careful to not overmix. Overmix will make our beautiful sponge cake dense. And we don't want dense sponge cake. We want light and airy sponge cake. So we have the last of our dry ingredients. And again, around and fold. Around and fold. So around and fold. Around and fold. Around and fold. Around and fold. So we don't want flower pockets, but we don't want to lose our air. So right now I'm doing a bit of a fold, a last fold, because I found a flower pocket that I just broke up. So around and fold. I just found another flower pocket. Around and fold. Around and fold. Okay, I think we're there. I don't see any flower pockets. And again, we want to be very careful to not overmix. So now we're going to take, I forgot how much, I forgot to measure, I forget how much this bowl weighs. So I can't figure out how much our batter weighs right now because we want it to be somewhat evenly distributed, but we're just gonna figure it out. Okay. We're gonna eyeball this. Okay. We have 113.5. 113.5. Okay. 140. Okay. Swap. We take our 113. We take the rest of this. And scrape it in there. Now this is 174. So now we're going to take the last bits and take our bowl scraper and put it into this, back into this one, and try to get them as close as possible weight-wise. So we take our bowl scraper and get the last of that batter off that bowl because we paid for these ingredients. And they don't do us any good getting washed down the drain. Now do they? Okay, 153. Beautiful. Look at that. Already. 158. I mean, look at how much product that is just from scraping the bowl. How many grams of product that is. So you gotta scrape your bowl, ladies and gents, boys and girls, they and thems and everybody in between. Okay, I think I've scraped everything that can be scraped out. So right now I have a 161 and a 173. You know what? Let's take a little spoon and, okay, so what's the difference there? So 160, 13 difference. So if we take out about 6, and drop it in here. And then we get a tiny bit more even. Okay, 168. 162. Boom, sold. I'll take it. That's close enough. So now we divide evenly and bake 20 to 23 minutes until light golden and springy to the touch. And we want to work fast. So let's get these going into our oven. So we have 1, 2, and we need 22 minutes on the clock. Now, when they come out of the oven, we're gonna have to work fast again to get them inverted onto a wire rack that we're gonna now prep our inversion situation. So, we have our wire rack. And I have a tray. That fits under it. Beautiful. And now, on our tray, these pieces of parchment that were kind of leftover scraps can actually come into play. We're going to lay them flat onto our pan. And we're going to pour some sugar on me. This is another tip that I got from the Love Manuela app. I forget her name on Instagram, but her app is Love Manuela. And so for sponge cakes, her technique, so the sponge cake climbs the walls of our pan, right? If I did everything correctly, if I got my meringue mixed correctly, if I did my twirl and fold correctly, that little bit of batter that we put into the pan is going to climb. And then when it comes out of the oven, we're going to want to put them upside down on our wiring rack. And her tip is to put parchment paper under that with granulated sugar on it, because that will absorb the moisture that's coming off of the cake. And then that way you're gonna have that nice, tall, structured cake that we worked so hard for. So we've laid out some granulated sugar on our parchment paper. I have my wiring rack, and we're gonna take a little bit of butter. Take a tiny bit of butter. If I can get this open. Hello. Take a little bit of butter. Put it on our paper towel. And then I'm going to take that little pat of butter and rub it on our cooling rack so that the cake doesn't stick to it. Another tip that I got from the Love Manuela app. Highly recommend it. I made some small adaptations to her recipe just because I'm trying to make this gallbladder friendly for my friend. Oh shit. Did I forget the milk? Oh no. I forgot the milk. See, I knew it. I knew this was coming too easy. Oh no, the milk, but the milk gets added at the end. Okay, I think we can still save this. I think we can still save it. Because the warm milk gets added in at the end. So, let's do that really quick now. I remember her folding in the milk. So let's just do that right now. And we're gonna hope for the best. See, ADHD. Okay, we're gonna just fold this warm milk in. She did say something about folding in warm cream instead of oil. Oh God, I probably fucked this up. Okay, well, watch me make a failure. Watch me fail. Okay, but you know what? Thankfully, the batter is still, it was still liquidy enough that it hadn't set yet. So we're going to hope this is not a fail and hopefully we save this. So now we're going to very quickly put this back into the oven and hope for the best. Because my God, I mean, thankfully, if I have to do this all over again, it's still early enough. But fuck. Okay, let's put that back in. Put that back in. Nope. And we're going to do 18. See, that neuro spiciness will get to you, especially with cakes. Cakes are so finicky. All right, well, good news is that this is batter for mini cake, for a mini cake. So if for any reason they don't come out okay, I guess I'll be making cake again later. I don't know, we'll see. I'm gonna go privately panic in a corner now that I realized I messed up. Hopefully not too much. Hopefully I caught it in time. We'll see. I'm gonna go panic in the corner for a bit. I'll come back live later and either show you the failure or I'll be back here again later making another batch of cake again because this one didn't work out. Wish me luck. I'll be back later. We'll see what comes out of the oven. Love you, bye.